Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to give you some typical problems on the shares and dividends. Before we start, I would like to invite you to our previous video in the part 1 where I have discussed about the uh, theory of the shares and dividends, and there I have given some some kind of formulas are there. Just check it out and then come to the part 2, or if you have already learned it, and then join with me in the second part of our video. And here we are going to give you some typical problems. Actually 10 typical problems are there which are very much crucial for this to understand the chapter. Do solve them along with me and try to understand it very clearly. And so now I'm going to start. So our first problem is that, there we go. That's the first problem, that Salman buys 50 shares of face value rupees 100 available at rupees 132. And we have to find out what is his investment, and then if we divided it 7.5% per annum, what will be his annual income, and if he wants to increase his annual income by rupees 150, how many extra shares should he buy? So first you can pause this video and then solve it by yourself, and then when you are done with your solution, then come to my solution to check it if you have done it correct or wrong. So here is my solution. I hope you have done it by yourself firstly, and then you have came to see the solution. So first, by reading the first line of the problem, I hope you have seen some data are given there, and already I have told you that before we go to solve any question, first you have to write the data what we have gathered from the question. So first we have got the number of shares, you can use the notation by n or something, or you can directly write the number of shares. So that is 50. Secondly, the face value, that is rupees 100, and the market value I'm writing in short MV, that is rupees 132. And from the second option that we need to find out, you can see there a rate of dividend is given. So rate of dividend, you can denote it by R also. So rate of dividend is 7.5%. Now we need to find out first the investment. Now what is the formula of investment? You can see that the formula of investment is, to find out the investment, we have to put the formula that investment equals to number of shares into market value. So we have got the number of shares as 50, and also we have got the market value as 132. So firstly we will write the formula, that is the investment. That is the answer of the first one, that we need to find out the investment. So investment equals to number of shares into market value. So there are 50 shares, 50, and the market value is 132. Okay, so when you are going to write the formula, then put the you are going to putting the values regarding the formula. You have to put the values accordingly. If you have written the number of shares first, put the value of number of share first. So by calculating this, you can get rupees 6,600. That is the investment, and that is the answer of the first portion. Now the second one. The second one is to find out the dividend. Second one, you need to find out the dividend. So what is the formula of dividend? Dividend formula is that number of shares, that I have used it n, into the face value and into the rate of dividend. So n means 50, number of face value is 100, and the rate 7.5%. that means 7.5 by 100. Now if we calculate, you can get the answer is rupees 375. 5. That is the answer of the dividend. So next, the third number is to find out his annual income. So annual income, that is also the dividend. Okay, so we have to find out to how many portions you have already have to sell more to find out the required income to increase it to rupees 525. Okay, so first the annual income, what is given in there, that is also the dividend. So here is the third one, that if he wants to increase his annual income by rupees 150, so his previous annual income, it was rupees 375. So previous annual income, that is the same as the dividend. So previous annual income, we got that rupees 375. Now he wants to increase his income by rupees 150 more. That means plus 150. That will be his new annual income. That is, after adding that, you will get rupees 525. So now he wants to increase his annual income to 525. So for that, how many shares he has to buy? So we will assume that he has bought X number of shares. So previously he has got 50 shares. Now he has taken X number of shares more. So this increased annual income, now increased annual income is 525, which is calculated upon the extra shares of X. Which of them or face value will remain same, that is 100, and rate will be 7.5%. That means 7.5 by 100. Now I hope you can calculate it very easily, that after calculating you will get that X equals to 20. So 20 number of shares he has to buy in extra to get his total annual income rupees 525, or to increase his annual income by rupees 150. So now here is our second problem, that a lady holds 1800 rupees 100 shares of a company that pays 15% dividend annually. So by reading the first line, you can easily find out that a lady holds 1800. That means this is the number of shares the lady is holding. Rupees 100 shares. That means this rupees 100, just after the mentioning the number of shares, that is also the face value of a company that pays 15% dividend. So that is the rate of dividend. Now we have to calculate her annual dividend. So we know the formula. By putting the formula, you can find out the dividend. And if she had bought these shares at 40% premium, what percentage return does she get on her investment? Now this 40% premium, it implies the what value, at which value the lady has bought those shares. That means the market value of those shares. And we need to find out the return percentage. And I hope you all know the formula regarding this. So you can pause the video and then solve it by yourself and then come to my solution. So I hope you have done your solution. Now let's see, is this my solution is going to match with you or not. So first, the number of shares. So from the given question, so we have collected the data, the number of shares. I'm denoting it by n. So that is 1800. The face value, that is rupees 100, and the rate is also mentioned in there, that is rate equals to 15%. So first we need to find out the dividend. So you know the formula, the dividend equals to number of shares, face value into rate. So we will put the value accordingly. The number of shares is 1800, face value is rupees 100, and the rate is 15%. That means 15 by 100. Now you can cancel those hundreds, and by multiplying by 15 with 1800, you will get rupees 27,000. That's 27,000 she will get to hold on the total of the shares for those time. And now we need to find out that the return percentage. So return percentage, to find, we need to get two values. One is the dividend and another one is investment. And you know that the investment should be calculated by the formula that number of shares into market value. So to find the market value, the data is given, the hint is given that it is the market value is 40% premium. So the market value of each of the share should be calculated easily. Already I have mentioned in my previous video that how to calculate the premium value or the market value if the premium is given, or the if the depreciation of the price is given, or it is at par, or it is at profit, etc. So you can check that one again. So market value can be calculated that rupees 100, that was the face value, and on that face value 40% premium, that means 40% extra. That's why I put the plus in there. So the 40% should be calculated on the face value. So I have taken the 100 is there. This 100 is the face value. So 100 into 40%, that is 40 by 100. So now if I calculate this one, then you can get that rupees 140. That is the market value of each of the share. Now we will calculate the return percentage. So return percentage equals to, according to the formula, that is dividend by investment into 100. So already I have calculated the dividend, that is 27,000, and for the investment we have not calculated yet, but we can do it here. That we know the investment formula is that the number of share, that is 1800, into the market value, that is 140, into the 100. So now if we calculate this one, you will get the percentage that at which the C will get as return, that the percentage will come as answer 10 whole 5 by 7%, or you can put it into decimal form. So the final answer will come as 10 whole 5 by 7%. So 10 whole 5 by 7%, or you can calculate it into decimal. So both are answers correct. If you have to put it into the factor form, or mixed fraction form, or in the decimal form, both are correct. Okay, now we'll go to the third problem. Third problem is that, there you go. That is a third problem. That is, what sum should a person invest in rupees 25 shares? That means this rupees 25 is the face value. Selling at rupees 36, that means it is the market value, to obtain an income of rupees 720. This income means the dividend, that is rupees 720. If the dividend declared is 12%, that means it is the rate of dividend. So also we have to find the number of shares bought by him and the percentage return on his income. So now we will focus to our first thing, that what sum should a person invest. That means what we need to find out, right? That is the investment. What sum should a person invest? That means we need to find out the investment. What are the datas are given in there? Rupees 25 shares, that is the face value. Selling at rupees 36, the market value. Income rupees 720, that is the dividend, and the rate of dividend, that is 12%. So from that we need to find out all those things. So try it by yourself and then come to my solution. So there you go. That's now my solution. That from the given question, we have collected the data as the face value rupees 25, the market value, that is rupees 36, the dividend, that is rupees 720, and the rate, that is 12%. Okay, so now there must be a confusion in there, that which formula should we get to find the required things. So first you can see that in the previous video that I have mentioned, three formulas are most important. One thing is that investment, second one is the dividend, and third one is the return percentage. So you have to find out of these three which is given in there. You can see that here dividend is given. That means we have to use the dividend formula, right? So first we will assume that the person has purchased X number of shares, or you can keep it as number of share in terms, or you can assume it as X, whatever you need. So I will assume it. So let X number of shares he has purchased. That is not given in there. We need to find out the X first. So we'll put the formula of dividend. So if we put the formula that dividend equals to number of share into face value into rate. The dividend is given as 720. Number of shares I have taken X. Face value is 25 and rate is 12%. That means 12 by 100. If you calculate it, you will find out that X equals to 240. That means the person has purchased 240 number of shares. Now we need to find out that what sum should a person invest. That means the investment. We need to find the investment. So what is the investment? So investment, the formula is that number of shares into market value. So number of shares already we have find out that 240 and the market value is 36. Now if you multiply, you will get rupees 5640. That is the investment. I mean the amount of sum the person has invested. Okay. Now next thing that already we have got that for first one we need to find out the number of shares bought by him. Already we have calculated as an X, and now the second thing is remaining that percentage of return on his income. We need to find out the return percentage. So to find out the return percentage, we again use the formula, that is the return percentage equals to the dividend. I'm going to put the data directly in here, but you have to write down the formula first and then put the values accordingly. So first the dividend that was already mentioned in the question, that 720, and if you like you can put the investment as the number of share into market value, so that will be easy for you to calculate or the cancel out the whole thing. And then if you cancel out, you will find that it is 8 whole 1 by 3%. Calculation is up to you, so I hope you can do it very quick, very easily. So that's the answer. Now match it with you, and if you can find out any kind of problems in there, then you can easily solve it out from my solution. So now we'll move to our fourth problems. There you go. That is our fourth problem. That is stated that a man invested 45,000 in 15% rupees 100 shares quoted at rupees 125. Now I have already mentioned in my previous video that the market value can be given in various form. Like here it is given that quoted at. So quoted at means that is the market value, which is given as 125, and you know that rupees 100 shares, that means it is the face value, and already the investment already given as 45,000, and also the rate, that 15%. Now when the market value of those shares rose to rupees 140, that means previously when the person has bought some shares, it was at a certain value. Now the market value has rose to 140, that means it has been increased. So now we need to find out he sold some shares. Out of the shares, how many he has bought, out of them he has sold some of them, and now just enough. So the amount of the shares he has sold, that is enough to raise 8400 rupees. Need to calculate the number of shares he still holds and the dividend due to him on these shares. Okay, so let me explain again, that calculate the number of shares he still holds, like after selling the shares, how many shares he still holds in his hand, and now the dividend due to him on those shares. Now for the remaining shares, how much dividend he still collect from the company. So pause the video and solve it by yourself and then come to my solution. So here you go, it's time for the solution. Now from the given question that we have collected the data as investment, that is rupees 45,000, the face value that was rupees 100, and the market value at that time when he has bought the shares it was 125, and the rate, that is 15%. That means it is the rate of dividend. Now we need to find out the number of shares he has bought. Now again I am telling that from there that you can find out that out of those three important formulas that I have mentioned earlier, investment is given. So we now going to use this formula for the investment to find out the first one. First one means we need to find out first the number of shares he has bought at initial. So to find the number of shares, you can find the data in the investment formula, that investment equals to number of shares, investment equals to the number of shares into market value. So if we need to find out the number of shares, keep it aside. That means if we keep n in one side and then market value will come to the other side, to the left side, and it will come as the division, that means investment by market value, that will give the number of share. Now we are going to put this formula, use this formula and put the value accordingly to find out the number of shares. So now if we use the whole of this formula, then we can find out easily the number of shares. So the number of shares n equals to, I'm going to put the values directly, that n equals to the investment, that is 45,000, but you have to write the formula first and then solve it and then put the formula value accordingly by 125. So we will get 360, that is total 360 number of shares he has bought. And now when the market price has rose to rupees 140, he sold some shares. Okay, this share is enough to raise a certain amount, 8400, but we don't know how much shares he has already sold, so we will assume it. So let x number of shares has sold. Okay, so when a person is going to sell some shares or buy some shares, he or she will purchase or sell according to the market value. So x number of share, each of share value is 140, is enough to raise 8400. Clear? So for that you can find out x as 60. Okay, that means 60 shares he has sold to raise that value 8400. So how many shares he has still held in his hand? You can easily find out by subtracting from the total number of shares, 360. So 60 shares he has sold, and for you need to find out in the second portion that how much dividend he will collect for those shares. So for 60 shares you need to find out the dividend. So the dividend for the remaining the shares he has already sold out, that is the 60, and the face value it was 100 and the rate was 12%. If you put them accordingly, you will find out that it is 900. So that's the solution. Now you can easily find out what is correct or wrong from your solution. If you find out any problems in there, you can check it from my solution. and solve it. Now we will move to our next problem, the fifth problem. That is our fifth problem. This problem said that a man invests 10,400 in 6% shares at rupees 104 and 11,440 in 10.4% shares at rupees 143. How much income would he get in all? So here you can see the two types of investments are given in there. In first investment, the person has invested 10,400 rupees for a 6% shares. That means the shares which gives him 6% at this rate of dividend. And at rupees 104, that means it is the market value. And rupees 11,440 invested in the another type of shares which is at the rate of 10.4% dividend. At rupees 143 it is available, and we need to find out how much income would he get in all. That means we need to find out the dividend from both the type of shares and then add it in final. That will give the total income of the man. Now the problem is that to find out the dividend, we need to find out the number of shares first and then the face value and the rate of return. So out of this you can see that only the rate of returns, the rate of dividend is given in there, not the face value, neither the number of shares. But one thing is most important, you can see that there is given the investment and the market value also. So from the investment and the market value, we can easily find out the number of shares he has purchased. And for the face value, for this kind of generalized question, we can take rupees 100 as the general face value. Now you solve it by yourself and then come to my solution. So here is the solution. Now if I write the data into by dividing into two types of investment, the first and second investment, you can see that under the first investment, the total investment is 10,400, the market value is 104, face value 100, and the rate is 6%. Similarly, for the second investment, the investment is rupees 11,440, market value is 143, face value is 100, and rate is 10.4%. Now we will find out the dividend from each of the investment and then we will add it. So if I try to find out the investment, the dividend, then we have to find out the number of shares first, and then already we have taken the face value as rupees 100. So while we are going to use the dividend formula, there we will put this thing directly as that the dividend, that is for the first investment, under the first investment, the dividend equals to the number of shares. We can I've shown that in my previous the problem, that how to find out the number of shares when the investment and the market value is given. So you know the formula now, that it is the investment by market value. So again the face value and the rate. So investment for the first type of shares, that is 10,400, and the market value is 104, face value I have taken the 100, and the rate is 6%, that is 6 by 100. After solving them, you can find out that the dividend is rupees 600. Similarly, for the second investment, if you go for the second investment, similarly we will put the values accordingly. Then the changes will be there as the investment and market value, those values will be changed. That is it will become as 11,400, that is 11,400 by not the 400, that's 440. Okay, that is 440, and the market value is rupees 143, and the rate is 10.4%, that means 10.4 by 100. Now by solving them, you can easily find out that it is rupees 832. Now the total income, that is in our first investment, he has got rupees 600, and now he has got rupees 832. By adding them, you can easily find out that it is rupees 1432. That is our answer. Now check it with your solution. So now we'll move to our next problem. So our next problem is that which is better investment? Two types of investments are given in there. Out of them, which investment is better? The first investment is given that 6% rupees 100 shares at rupees 120. That means for the first investment, the face value is 100, rate is 6%, and the market value is rupees 120. Or the another one, 8% rupees 10 shares at rupees 15. Rate of dividend is 8%, rupees 10 is the face value, and rupees 15 is the market value. Now, how to compare them, that which is better? So, for that, we have to compare it with the amount he has invested. That means for the both of the shares, the person have to invest the same amount of money, and then he have to find out how much outcomes he or she will get from those two shares, and according to that value you will measure which one is the better investment. So try it by yourself and then come to my solution. So here's the solution. Now I have already mentioned that to compare two types of shares, first we have to invest the same amount of money. So first we will assume that we are going to invest the same amount of money. That is, let X amount of money is invested in both the shares. Okay, so now we will find out the amount of the dividend from each of them. So for the first investment, face value, that is rupees 100, rate, that is 6%, and the market value, that is rupees 120. And already we have taken the X as the amount, that means the investment. So now from that we'll find out the dividend. Now similarly, that I have already mentioned in the previous problem, that when the number of share is not given, how to calculate it. So dividend, that is, first we have to mention the number of share. So to find the number of share, that is investment by market value, that is X by 120, face value is 100, and rate is 6%, that is 6 by 100. So after calculating it, you can find out that it is X by 20. Okay, similarly we will do the same thing for the second investment. For the second investment, we will take the same amount of money as X, and already I have mentioned in there that the face value and the rate and the market value is given in there, that in the second investment the face value is rupees 10, so face value, that is rupees 10, rate 8%, market value rupees 15. So now we will calculate the dividend from here. So dividend, investment already I have taken as X, so X by 15. You must write the formula first and then put the values accordingly. So then 10 the face value, and then the rate, the 8%, that is 8 by 100. By calculating it, you will get that 4x by 75. Now we have got two values of dividend. First one we have got X by 20, and another one is 4x by 75. Now X is a variable which is present in there. Now how to compare it? One thing you can see from there are many of the solutions in there, that they have calculated the dividend for single share, for a single share. But that one also correct, but this one, if you want to go through this one, then also you will get the fractions and then you have to compare between them which one is larger. Now how to compare the fractions, which one is the larger among them? So there are several methods out there. So one thing is that you can make the denominators similar by doing the LCM of the denominators and then multiply them accordingly to the numerator and denominator for each of the fractions and then compare it. Or you can do a crisscross method that we call it the shortcut form of it, that if you are going to compare between the two fractions, you can also do it like this, that first you have to write those two fractions. Here we have got two fractions, one is x by 20 and another one is 4x by 75. Now you have to multiply them in crisscross way. It will be multiplied with x and will write the value just below it. That means the numerator is going to multiply the denominator of other one, and similarly we'll repeat the process for the other two numerator and denominators. So you can see that this numerator is going to multiply with that, this denominator going to multiply with that numerator. That means the product should be right just below of the first fraction. It will give 75x. Now we are going to multiply 20 with 4x, that will give 80x. Now ignore this value and compare the numerical one, that 80 must be larger than 75. So the second fraction is larger. So we can say that second investment is the better investment. So now we have reached the conclusion that second investment is better. That is our solution. Now you can check it with yourself. Now that is our problem number 7. That is, a man bought 360 10 rupees shares paying 12% per annum. He sold them when the price rose to rupees 21 and invested the proceeds in 5 rupees shares paying 4.5% per annum at rupees 3.5 per share. Find the annual changes in his income. So from the problems we can find the data as follow, that 360 10 rupees shares, that means 360 number of shares which are the face value of 10, paying 12% per annum, that is the rate of dividend. Now he has sold them, the total 360 number of shares he has sold them when the price rose to rupees 21. That means when the market price rose to 21, and whatever the amount he has collected by selling those shares, he has invested it into the next another share which is available at face value rupees 5, paying 4.5% as rate of dividend at rupees 3.5 per share. That means that was the market value, current market value of that particular type of shares. Now need to find out the annual changes in his income. That means now when he was in his previous share, what was his income then, and now when he invested by selling those shares and invested in another one, how much income he has getting now. That means if the income has increased or decreased, that you need to find out. So solve it by yourself, pause the video and then come to my solution. So already I have told, to find out the change of his income we need to find the dividend for both the investment. So from the first investment we have got the data as the number of shares, that is 360, face value, that is rupees 10, the rate, that is 12%. So the dividend, he has collected the dividend, that rupees 360 into 10 into 12 by 100. Now calculating these values, you can find out that it is rupees 432. Now he is going to sell these shares when the market value is rose to rupees 21. So now we'll try to find out the how much of money he has collected by selling those shares. Okay, so to find the amount of money he has collected selling those shares, we have to multiply the number of shares with the new market value of the shares. So here the after selling he has collected 360 shares he has sold by rupees 21, that means rupees 7560. That is going to be the investment for his next type of shares. Okay, for the second type of share, the investment we have got, that is rupees 7560, the face value, that is rupees 5, the market value, that is rupees 3.5, the rate, that is given as 4.5%, that is we can say 9/2%. For that one we have to find out the dividend again, but you can see that for dividend we have to get those values like the face value, the rate and the number of shares, but number of share is not given in there. Instead of it, the investment and the market value we know. And I hope you have learned how to find out the number of shares when the investment and market value is given. Simply by dividing them, you can find out the number of shares. So we are going to apply that thing to find out the dividend, and we will put that thing directly. So the dividend in his second type of shares, that is dividend equals to the investment, that means 7560 divided by the market value of that share which he is going to purchase, the face value and the rate, 9/2%, that means 9/2 into 100. You know very well that if the 9/2 fraction is over there, the denominator will come to the denominator of the whole and it will multiply with the 100, and if we calculate it you will get it that rupees 486. So from the previous one he has collected the dividend of rupees 432, and now he is going to collect the rupees 486. Now we have to find out the change of his dividend or the income. So change of an income is, previously he has got rupees 432 and now he is getting rupees 486. By simply subtracting them, you can find out the value which is going to change in his total income. So change of income, will be rupees 486 from the new one and 432 from the previous one, that is rupees 54. This amount of value is going to change in his income. So first check it out with your solution if it is going to correct according to myself or not, and then come to our next problem. There we go, the problem number 8. By purchasing rupees 50 gas shares for rupees 80 each, a man gets 4% profit on his investment. What rate percent is company paying, and what is his dividend if he buys 200 shares? So first thing first, so by purchasing rupees 50 gas shares, that means this rupees 50 is going to be the face value of the shares, and for rupees 80 each, that means this rupees 80 is going to be the market value. A man gets 4% on his profit. This 4% is the rate of earning, that means the rate of income, or you can say that it is the return percentage on his investment. What rate percent is company paying? The percent that is company paying, that is the rate of dividend. So we need to find out the rate of dividend, and then we have to find out the dividend if he buys 200 shares. If 200 shares has bought by this person, then what dividend the person will get? Try it by yourself first, then come to my solution. You know what to do. So there you go. Now the solution. From the given question, we have collected the data as face value, that is rupees 50, the market value, that is rupees 80, and the rate of return or the return percentage. Return percentage is 4%. So we need to find out the rate of dividend the company is paying to that person who is holding the shares. So we will assume it that by R%, that let the company is paying at R%. So out of those three important formula, you can see that return percentage is given. Return percentage. So now we are going to use that formula. So now you will get best to is that how we can use that and find out the R percentage there. So look closely. That return percentage, we'll write the formula in together, that the number of shares that I am taking is N, face value, and the rate that I have taken, that R%, and the investment means the number of shares into market value. And as I have said, the return only, so we have to take 100 in there. Now we'll put the value accordingly. Return means the return percentage, that will take the numerical value only there, 4. Now you can see that on the numerator and denominator, on the both side, the N is same. It will cancel out. Now the face value, that is 50. I have taken return percentage as R%, that means R by 100, and the market value is rupees 80, and another 100 is there. Now if you simplify it, you will see that the 100 which is divided with the R, that will come to the denominator, okay, and it will give us as 4 equals to 50 into R by 80 into 100 into 100. Cancel those hundreds, and by solving it, you will see that this R equals to 6.4%. 6.4%. If you convert into decimal, it will give 6.4%, or you can keep it in as fraction as well, but it will be better if you convert it into the decimal. Now our next thing, we need to find out the dividend. Now you have got all the data to find out the dividend, but here it is mentioned that we need to find the dividend only for those 200 shares which is hold. Okay, so dividend that is going to be calculated for this 200 shares. So number of shares is 200. The face value of it is also already mentioned from the previous, and the rate we have just calculated, that is 6.4%. That means 6.4 by 100. Now if you calculate it, you will get this rupees 640. That is the dividend the person is going to collect. So I hope this thing has matched with your answer, and you are doing it very well. Okay, now we are going to move to our next problem, that is problem number 9. This problem states that at what price should a 6.25% rupees 50 shares be quoted when the money is worth 10%? This means that we need to find out the market value of the share. English is that what price should a 6.25%, this 6.25% is the rate of dividend, rupees 50 shares, that is the face value, be quoted, that means we need to find out the market value when the money is worth, that means it is the rate of return. Money is worth, that means how much, at which rate you are going to gain or attain your dividend according to your investment, that is the rate of return. So we need to find out the market value from those data. So do it by yourself first and then come to my solution. So from the given part, we have collected the data as the face value, that is rupees 50, the rate, that is 6.25%, the rate of return, that is 10%. We need to find out the market value at which the shares are quoted. So you can see the return percent is given. That means we are going to use the return percentage formula. So according to the formula, that return percentage, the number of shares, face value, rate by number of shares into market value, because we need to find out the market value. So we have written the investment part in broad, that is n into mv. Now you can see that n will cancel out. Now put the formula, put the value accordingly. That return percent is 10 is given already, face value is given rupees 50, rate is already mentioned as 6.25%. so if you put 6.25% 100 in over there, but it will come accordingly under it, and the market value need to be find out into 100, cancel those 100. So that 100 in the denominator, has came from the rate, that is 6.25% is mentioned. 6.25% means 6.25 by 100, and that 100 came to the denominator, and that is cancelled with the percentage 100. And now if we calculate the whole thing, you will get the solution as the rate of each share which is available at the market, that is the market value. So market value equals to, it is rupees 31.25. that is the market value of each of the share, and that is our answer. Now check it with your solution. Then we will forward to our last problem, that is the problem number 10. Now this problem is going to be very much crucial for us, that it is kind of different type of things I have seen. It says that the divide 20,304 into two parts, such that if one part is invested in 9% rupees 50 shares at 8% premium, and the other part is invested in 8% rupees 25 shares at 8% discount, then the annual incomes from both the investors are equal. So we need to find out the parts. I mean, you can see that in here two types of investments are there. In the first investment, it is said that he has invested this first part into the shares which are like face value of rupees 50, rate of dividend is 9%, and 8% is premium. That means that will implies the market value. And the other part he has invested into another type of share which has face value of rupees 25, rate of dividend is 8%, and it is at 8% discount. But he has balanced those two parts in such a way that the annual income from both those investment is equal. So that is our key point, that we have to find out the dividend from both type of shares, and then we will equate it, and from that we will find the part which he has invested in those shares. So as it does not mention that you have to divide these two parts into equal or 1/4 or something, it is not mentioned. Okay, so just first try it by yourself and then see my solution. Okay, so the solution is that we have to divide this sum into two parts, I mean according to the two different type of investment. So first we assume that in the first investment he has invested rupees X, and in the second investment he has invested the rest of it. So we will assume it that let investment rupees X, and here the investment will be the rest of it. That means total it was rupees 20304. So here it will be 20304 minus 6. This is the investment for the second type of share. In the first type of share, the face value is rupees 50, rate is 9%, and the market value. We need to find this one, market value, because already I have mentioned that for this type of sum, it is already given that the dividends are same. That means we need to calculate the dividend for both type of shares. So to find the dividend, we need to get the number of shares he has purchased. So that's why the market value should be calculated, because here investment it is given, that is, I mean, we have assumed that it is X. So if I get the market value, then we can easily find out the number of share he has purchased, or he is going to collect the dividend on that number of shares. So market value for the first type of share, it is given that it is 8. It is given as the 8% as premium. That means face value which it was 50. So market value will be 50 plus 50 into 8%, 8 by 100. That will be rupees 54. Now for the second type of share, the face value it is given that rupees 25, rate of interest, or we can say the rate of dividend, it is 8%, and the market value, it is mentioned that it is at 8% discount. That means 25 minus 25 into 8 by 100. If you calculate it, you will get rupees 23. Now we will find out the dividend for both type of shares. So we will use the formula of dividend for the first investment as well as for the second type of investment. So if you use the dividend formula for the first type of investment, you will see that already we have calculated the market value in there. We can use it to find out the number of shares for which he is going to collect the dividend, and similarly for the second type of it. So for the first one, you can see the dividend equals to, he has invested X rupees here, and out of which the market value is rupees 54, the face value is rupees 50, and the rate of dividend, it is mentioned that 9%. So by calculating it, you will get it is X by 12. This is the dividend for the first type of investment. Now if we going to find out for the second type of investment, the value should be changed as the investment is in there 20304 minus X, market value is 23, face value is 25, and rate is 8%. Okay, so if we calculate it, you will get 25 to 100, that is 4, 4 and 8, that is 2. So 2 is going to multiply it with the numerator 20304 minus X, and 23 will remain as in the denominator. So if you multiply, you will get 40608 minus 2x by 23. No need to calculate it any further. So now we go for the clue that it is given the dividends are equal. That means we are going to equate the both the dividends we have collected from the two types of investment in there. One is one given in there, the X by 12, and from the another one we have find out that 40608 minus 2x by 23. So you write it according to the problem. So according to the problem, x by 12 is equals to 40608 minus 2x by 23. So now if we cross multiply 23 into x, that is 23x. Now 12 should be multiplied to the whole of the numerator 40608 minus 2x. So if you multiply, you will get 487,296 minus 24x. So all the x's should be on the one side. So take 24x to the left side. It will come as plus. So if you add, it will give 47x equals to 487,296. And now if we divide it by 47, you will get the value of x as 10368. Now I have taken x as the investment of the first type of share. So the investments we have got in here, one is for the 10368 and the another one should be calculated by subtracting from the total amount of investment that is also already mentioned in your question, that is 20304. So the investment in first share, that is equals to rupees 10368, and the investment in second share, that is rupees 20304 minus 10368, that is rupees 9936. So those two are the investments for two different type of shares. So now here we have done for all the total 10 sums. Now if you go for an overview for the whole of the all 10 sums, you can see that from the problem 1, I have discussed very simple things which we can get directly from by putting the formula, that what is the investment and what is this annual income and what will be the increase of his annual income for buying some extra shares. And now in the second problem, I have already I have solved that first the annual dividend, which was very much easy, and then if it has been rose its value at the certain rate of premium, that means here I have shown how to calculate the market value, and if the premium is given, then how to formulate it, and then return percentage I have calculated in there for his investment or for her investment. And now from problem number 3, there I have shown you that how to find out the amount, I mean the investment, what amount invested by a person to find a certain amount of dividend, and how to calculate it. And also under this same problem also I have shown that to find out the number of shares, how to find them, and again the return percentage. And now in the problem number 4, I have shown you that how to calculate the number of shares when a person is going to sell some of them and going to hold some of it, and then find out the dividend from the rest of the shares already he has in his hand. And now in the problem 5, I have shown you that how to find out the compare the income between two types of share, or going to add up those dividends and then find the total income between two of the types of the shares. And we can do it for the same thing if there are 3 or more than 3 types of shares that are there. Now in problem number 6, there I have shown you that how to compare between two types of investment, which is better or which is worse, and by finding out the dividend only. So we can get the comparison between two types of shares only by finding the dividend. And in the problem number 7, I have shown you that when a person is going to hold some of the shares in his hand and then is going to sell all of them and going to invest the proceed in the next another one, then what will be the change of his income. That means there I have shown you that we have to find out the dividend first in the first investment, then how to find out the investment for his second type of shares, and then how to compare between them or how to find out the change of his annual income. And now the problem number 8. There I have shown you that by purchasing some of the shares, how to get the rate percentage by the company is paying. That means there are, that is the rate of dividend, how to find it out. And then simple thing, the dividend, if he has got some amount of certain amount of shares in his hand. Now the problem number 9. There I have shown you that how to find out the market value when the rate of return is given and the rate of dividend is given and the face value is given. How to find out them, I have shown you there. And in the problem number 10, that is the special one. Here we can, I have shown you that when a person is going to invest some certain of money by dividing it into two parts, not by the equally, but in some certain rate or certain kind of thing, that he is going to invest it into two different types of shares, so that the total dividend, I mean the in dividend in from the each of the type of share will be the same. Here the question may come in the question number 10, that if it is given that maybe there will be changes in there, that the annual dividend will be double of the previous one, then just we have to multiply the second dividend by 2 and then equate them, or maybe it will become half or 1/3 or 2/3, whatever it is given, just change the value that by 2 or 1/3 or 2/3, I mean 2/3 or 1/3, etc. And then you can easily find out the value of the x, and then subtracting it from the total amount of the investment, you will get find out the final investment for the second type of shares. Then you can write the answer in fully. So by this whole of the session, I hope you have learned it very well, that how to calculate the shares and dividends and how to find out the solutions out of it. And I hope this video will enjoy it very well, and this video will help you to find out all the rest of the problems. And those 10 problems are very much crucial in there, that you will find out that out of the all the things of whole types of the questions is coming in our years or in our letter, whole things will become the same types of things that I have taken in here as an example. And I hope this video will help you very well. So until my next video, it will be on the mensuration. So follow my channel and try to follow the whole of the lessons from the beginning to the end, and follow it, and go to my next video. It will come very soon, and I hope as well the previous video has helped you, this video will, and in future also. So until then, goodbye.